All right, here we are for match number 3 of the league. We're on the play again, which is cool, and we're gonna keep. This hand's really good. It's got an unearth, just in case. Got to cycle it or return this Kabaj, which is on turn 2. A Chainer's Edict and a Grey Merchant to top it off. So looking pretty good. All right, so we're up against Tron, and if you notice, I don't have any choking sands in my sideboard. The reason for that is I have found Tron to be such a bad matchup for mono black control that choking sansing them or rancid earth or whatever you're playing, and making them take a turn off doesn't actually help at all. If anything, it just delays the inevitable. So I decided to go just with the discard plan and hope that works out. Uh, I don't think Tron's a very winnable matchup, but if I win it, you know, I ain't complaining. So my opponent got a tower. Doesn't have turn 3 Tron, which is good. Stupid expedition map. Can you imagine how much worse this deck would be without expedition map? Like, the deck would be almost unplayable without an expedition map, I think. So, alright. Well, that stinks. But, whatevs. So I'm going to play Chittering Rats, and I think I want to keep the Unearth in my hand because returning this doesn't seem very good, but if he kills this, I'd rather, return that. So keeping Unearth seems better. Disfigure also, the good thing is not dead game 1 against my opponent because it actually kills Mole Drifter, so that's a good thing. So my opponent played Nurse's Tower. It looks like they still don't have Tron, which is a good thing. There's a Seagate Oracle. Again, another reason Disfigure is actually not bad. And I hope they block because, oh, well, alright. I'd rather use Disfigure on this. If they don't block, I will Tendrils it. Okay. I would have Tendrils it, and the reason is you have to make sure that Chainer's Edict is able to kill a Fengram Marauder or what have you. So, Double Grey Merchant is also really good. I just noticed I have that in my hand. Alright, so my opponent now has Tron. So, hopefully they can't do a lot with it. Here comes Fengram Marauder number 1. Yep. And a chromatic effect to go with it. Yep. I have to wonder, like, if my opponent had that already and just didn't play it. Although I guess they never really had time. So, are they going to Flame Slash me now? Yep. Alright. I love this deck, though. I do. And a Prophetic Prism. No, another chromatic effect. Crack it now. We have mana? No. Alright. Drew a 5th land. I think I'm still going to Chainer's Edict, though. And unearth back this Chittering Rats. Because I think it's just better to get back. Pseudo Time Walks my opponent. I mean, they can obviously cantrip with Chromatic Sphere, so it doesn't exactly memory lapse them too badly, but hopefully it'll do a good job. So 3 Flame Slashes down. Jeez. And my opponent played a Mole Drifter. Not looking too good. Not looking too good at all. I think I'm just going to play Grey Merchant here, just to get something on the board. I can't really afford to wait and just tendril. Like, I also don't want to tendrils this. Like, tendrilsing Mole Drifter just seems really bad. I think the only thing you really care about in this matchup is Fengram Marauder, because I think you can race Mole Drifters and whatnot. Of course, I could easily be wrong. Alright, here comes Fengram Marauder number 2. And, gonna probably crack the star for a blue. If it cracks for a red, I'm gonna be a little upset. Oh, okay. So that's gonna get back a Haunted Fengraf. Hopefully Haunted Fengraf gets Seagate Oracle back. So, my opponent can gain a bunch of life, but as I showed against oh, no, there is this tower. I guess my opponent could have Rolling Thunder, which would be a bit of a pain. Oh no, they played another chromatic effect. Okay. Uh, as I showed with the Soul Sisters matchup, you can theoretically actually take an opponent down from quite an immense amount of life. So I'm not going to gamble it. I'm just going to kill the Frankenroder now. I'll watch me draw a land next turn too. Uh, but I think I'd still rather do it now. My opponent got a green instead of a red, which is interesting. I guess my opponent probably doesn't have any instants in their deck. Like, I would imagine they're playing Firebolt, not Lightning Bolt. Although, I've seen more people play Lightning Bolt than, Lightning Bolt than Firebolt, so that is something. More green. Alright. One card I should talk about in this matchup is actually Pestilence. Pestilence is actually not that bad in this matchup because it makes your Chainer's Edicts much better, because what you can do is you can keep picking these guys off while keeping these in play, and then you know, you can whatchamacallit, you can Chainer's Edict away these big guys, but yeah, I think we're pretty boned here. The other thing about Choking Sands that I want to talk about is like Tron is built to do one thing and mainly one thing only. To keep getting Tron. And, I don't think you win fast enough realistically to... I think I'll use Friction Rage. I'd rather dig a bit deeper into my deck than Chittering Rats. Okay. I don't think that you win the game fast enough to actually make them losing Tron actually worthwhile. I don't know. I've only beaten this matchup maybe once or twice. I have constant bad luck against this match. And it's not surprising because this match is actually just so bad for Mono Black Control. Because they just keep going, no matter what you do, they just keep going more over the top every single turn. It's just not a good look for you. After board, it gets a bit better when your late game gets better, because you take out some of your worst cards like Disfigures, and you bring in some more discard and some better removal spells and such. So that is something to keep in mind. Another Haunted Fangraph. Could I theoretically win this game? I mean, geez, I don't even know anymore. If my opponent hits the other Fangarmarauder, I think I just scoop. I don't think I can actually win. Alright, well, it hits Seagate Oracle, so that's good. Looks like the recording's going to last a bit longer. For game 1, at least. So, they finally flame-slashed my Grey Merchant. I don't believe whatsoever that they didn't have it the whole time. I think they just kept on trying to pretend that they would draw into it. Okay, so I can play Chittering Rats and Gurmangler. First, we will sign it. Actually, first we'll attack. Because I'm not blocking. So, might as well just get in for 2 points of damage. Yep. Sign in Blood myself. A Baron more. And an Oubliette. Okay, so we'll go ahead and play Oubliette. We'll remove this stupid Fangarmarauder. And then we'll go ahead and play Gurmangler. Removing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think I'll still keep the Baron more in my hand. No. You know why I'm going to play it? Because if I draw a land next turn, it allows me to play Chittering Rats and Grey Merchant. And depending on what is in my opponent's hand, and, if they're flooded or not, I can maybe start getting in for some damage. So that'll be good. Does not look like it, though. Oh, wait, that's a red. Oh, they have Rolling Thunder? Am I just dead? Damn. I was one turn off. I was only a few turns off, too. Which is a little upsetting, because most decks only play one Rolling Thunder. So I have to wonder if my opponent's only playing one. Alright, I'm not going to make my opponent do it. I know my opponent has it. I'm not going to make my opponent go through with it. So, Duress, you. Nihil Spellbomb might come in if I have room. So what's bad here? Disfigure is not very good. The Pestilence is not that good, despite what I say. Kumbadwitches actually kind of suck. Like, this match is going to be won by going Corrupt and Gurmag Anglers and Grey Merchants a bunch. And then I don't think Unearths are actually that good. I think like returning a Chittering Rats or Phyrexian Rager is okay, but I don't think that's going to be a foolproof plan. One thing I'm wondering is it better to bring in Death's Denied? Um, over like the Read the Bones or over like a couple Sign in Blood just to be able to like, return a bunch of creatures. And I think that's actually fine. I think I'm going to take out one Sign in Blood for one Death Denied. I think Read the Bones scrying, because this game is probably going to go long, is probably a good thing. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is Nihil Spellbomb is not a bad card to bring in because it screws up Haunted Fengraf, but it's not worse than any of your other cards. So there isn't really any room to bring it in. And I think I'll keep this hand. It's kind of a mulligan to 6 because you have the Gurmag Angler, but double Duress is pretty good on the play because you get to stop them from setting up. And they kept... Oh, I thought they kept turn 3 Tron for a second. Alright, well, we'll take the Prism. And then next turn, depending on what I draw, I will probably take the Rolling Thunder since it's going to happen eventually. Alright, no Expedition Map, which is good. Alright, that's less good because they drew another power plant. I saw 2 more power plants, so they drew another power plant. I kind of looked really quick. Alright, so that's pretty good. So if we draw another land, we're going to be in pretty good shape with this Okibigang Shinobi. And at worst, we have this Chainer's Edict to get rid of the Fangren Marauder that they may be able to cast at some point. Alright. Make that 2 Chainer's Edicts. Looking for a land here, people. Looking for a land. Alright. Well, my opponent got Tron, but they don't have any colored mana. And, alright. We're looking pretty good this game now. I mean, we got kind of lucky that my opponent kept the heavy Tron draw without any, ways to cast colored spells, but looking pretty good so far. So, this is one of the matchups where Okibigang Shinobi, like, really, really shines. Because they don't have a lot of ways to remove it. And, alright, I'm pretty sure we win this game now. Had to get really lucky to do it, but I'm fairly certain we win this game if my opponent's just passing the turn. Alright, I'm pretty sure we still win this game. Because we have Chainer's Edict. So, I'm fairly certain we still win this game. I hope. I'm not really sure anymore. Oh, my opponent played Moldrifter instead. Okay. My opponent's got Fangren Marauder and 2 blanks. I guess we'll find out what my opponent has. Alright. My opponent said go. So now we get to do this. Take the Flame Slash that they had. Chainer's Edict. And completely wreck my opponent. And take advantage of how lucky we get. Welcome to what many refer to as Magical Christmas Land. I hope you enjoy your stay. I think my opponent's also in somewhat Magical Christmas Land because they just cycled 3 chromatic effects in a row. I do also want to point out, be careful when casting cards in this deck, and the reason I say that is because I don't know if it's just me or I saw my opponent have the same problem, but Magic Online likes to use colored mana without asking you a lot for no good reason, so it can really, mess you up. So just be careful. A Terrarion. So my opponent's playing an extra chromatic-like effect. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm just going to get in for 3 and then play Gurmag Angler. Because, 1, my opponent has no cards in hand, so playing this doesn't matter. My opponent didn't block. They're keeping in mind the Chainer's Edict. Alright. We'll play Gurmag Angler. And hopefully we'll still be somewhat in a good position. That Seagate Oracle kind of makes things a bit difficult, though. Not going to lie to you. Not going to lie at all. Alright, so my opponent got back Moldrifter with the Haunted Fengraf they got off the Expedition map they played, and conceded. So, I think I still keep it the same way. I mean, I could... Maybe bringing in Geth's Verdict is actually a good thing over a duress effect since I'm on the draw. It's probably better, like, just bringing an extra removal spell. One thing I want to point out is when I set up keeping a Shinobi, they can't really remove it quickly or easily. They can remove it, it's just you should be able to clock in with it because all their removal, or at least most of them, should be, uh, you know, sorcery speed. So, one thing I'm wondering about is Death Denied worth it? On the draw. I'm not sure. Maybe Sign and Blood's actually just better. Let's just bring the Sign and Blood back in. So, just keep it where maybe it should be. The reason why is because you know, I don't really know if the Death Denied actually is going to really work out. We'll keep this hand. It's not a bad hand. It's obviously not the best hand I could have. And also, you saw the power of like why Tron is just so powerful. I mean, they dig so deep into their deck, and especially if they go turn 3 Tron, you know, you're so screwed half the time. All right, let's go ahead and duress my opponent. See what's going on. You usually want to duress as early as possible to try and, you know, like really, what the heck is this doing to the deck? That's pretty cool. To really try and, you know, mess them up a bit. Since the Flame Slash doesn't really do anything right now, let me just take a screenshot of this so I can, you know, remember about the Flame Slash. I think I'm just going to take the Prophetic Prism to make them not be able to draw a card. So, they don't have this. They don't have this. Still these 3. That's pretty cool tech, though. The Gargoyle. I like that. Alright. Go ahead and Sign in Blood. Alright. Chittering Rats is not bad. Kind of dies to Flame Slash, but not bad. Alright, so it looks like my opponent drew an Ancient Stirrings. Or they're just... I don't know. Yeah, looks like they drew an Ancient Stirrings and they want to sack this first. Oh no, my opponent missed a land drop. Oof. Okay. Well, you're going to be missing more land drops. Because Chittering Rats is a stupid card when your opponent is behind on lands. Like I said, when your opponent misses land drops, Chittering Rats is a really, really, really stupid card. It's a really, really annoyingly stupid card. So my opponent does not have Flame Slash anymore. And now we're just going to play Gurmag Angler and start beating down. And this was highlighted, but I'm pretty sure this is turn 4 and I played my land already. I don't know. All right, well they drew Expedition Map, but that's kind of slow, and we have plenty of removal in our hand. Just gonna play this because Swamp is better with Corrupt, and I can cycle the Baron more. So we'll get in for 5, and then we'll Sign in Blood myself. Drew Distress, so we'll go ahead and Distress now. We see Reaping the Graves. Ooh, my opponent's playing a cool version. A Flame Slash and a Seagate Oracle. So, assuming they get a Tron land next turn, or let's, you know, if they draw, like, maybe they're playing an island or something, they could play the Seagate Oracle. I don't think I really care about the Flame Slash all that much, so I'm just going to take the Seagate Oracle. Oh, let me just do this real quick. No. I think the worst option to take would be the Fangren Marauder or the Sanctum Gargoyle, so I'm just going to take the Seagate Oracle here. And cycle this so I can have 6 and pass turn. That's a good draw. So the Flame Slash was intriguing, but I don't want to. I want to take the Seagate Oracle to make my Edict effects better in the long run, and I also want to not have to use them on the Seagate Oracle because then it kind of screws up the Fangren Marauder you know, thing. Okay, well, if I knew I was going to draw that. So here I'll just play Grey Merchant. If my opponent wants to Flame Slash it, that's cool. The reason why is, you know, now we win next turn if my opponent doesn't kill it, and if my opponent draws a Tron piece and they play Fangren Marauder, I can go Geth's Verdict or Chanter's Edict and win the game because now they're at 7. Is where if I had played the Chittering Rats, I wouldn't have won the game. My opponent would be at 9. So, yeah. Alright, so they did Flame Slash, and now they're a turn off. So if I draw another Grey Merchant, I win the game. But I should be in good shape anyway. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and play this. Get my opponent down to 2. This is why I like Gourmet Angler so much in this deck. Like, there are a lot of decks not playing Gourmet Angler, and I was just so hell-bent on playing the card because it's so good in Pauper. Like, not only is it a 5/5, but it you know, it's a 5/5 black creature. So you can't Doomblade it, you can't Terror it, you can't do a lot of things to it. It's so hard to kill a Gourmet Angler. Yeah, so I think games 2 and 3, my opponent just kept kind of a gamble draw, and we won. I think overall, usually this matchup is actually pretty bad for you, but as I showed you, the discard removal heavy plan with Gourmet Anglers and whatnot can also be pretty good. But um, only in the other 2 games in those positions, even in the last game, the choking stands would not have been very good because my opponent drew 5 Tron pieces. So it wouldn't have been very good. Here, obviously, it would have, but we were getting so lucky anyway. So, alright. I'll see you for match number 4. Stay tuned.